All right, guys. Today we are going to be working on multiples. So our I can for today is I can multiply. I can explain that a number is a multiple of each of its factors. Got to make sure I'm in this camera here. Uh-oh, lights went out. One sec. Okay, I'm back. So as I was saying, today we are going to explain that a whole number is a multiple of its factors. Factors are something that we went over yesterday. So let's go ahead and get started. A whole number is a multiple of its factors. Multiples are equal to the products of factor pairs. So we have this example here that 24 is the multiple, and here are the factors in the box. Okay, all of these factors, you multiply two of them together, and they'll equal 24. So example, I know that 12 times 2 equals 24. 12 and 2 are the factors. Okay, fix that. And 24 is the multiple. So if I counted by 12 two times, 12, 24, I'm going to end up with 24 as the multiple. Whereas if I counted by 2 12 times, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, I'm going to land on 24. 24 is the multiple. Multiples are a product of factors. A factor, I'm going to write this down here, factor times a factor equals a multiple. Oops, I forgot my L. Undo. L-T-I-P-L-E. A factor times a factor equals a multiple. And we can see that here in 12 times 2 equals 24. All right. So if I wanted to list the first 5 multiples of 2, I'm really just counting by 2's. So if I'm counting by 2's, I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are all multiples. Okay, then I can do the same thing for listing the first 5 multiples of 10. Do this one on your own. Pause this video, write them down in your notebook, and then come back and check your work. Okay, let's check our work. The first 5 multiples of 10, if I do just like I did for 2's, I'm counting by 10's 5 times. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, again, these are multiples. When it asks you to list the multiples of a number, all you have to do is count by that number. So if I'm listing the multiples of 2's, I just counted by 2's. If I'm listing the multiples of 10, I'm just counting by 10's. Another way that you can list multiples, especially on those tricky numbers like, say, 7, if I'm not sure how to go about listing those multiples, you can always just use a multiplication chart. In the back cover of your math journal, there's a multiplication chart. I'm going to black out the row of zeros because we don't need it. So I'm just going to scribble that out real quick. We're not going to use the zeros, okay? Because we know 0 times anything is going to equal 0, okay? And not a multiple. So 3 times 1 is 3. If I wanted to list my multiples of 3, I would go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. I can just go straight across the rows. Same way, I can do the multiples of 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, and so on. So when I'm going across the rows, I'm listing the multiples. If I wanted to know the factors of the number, then I'm going to look at the edges. So let's take 35, for example. Okay? One factor of 35 is 7, because if I go straight back across the row, I started on the 7's, right? I'm counting by 7's. Okay, so 7 is going to be a factor. And then I go up, if I can go straight, and I get to 5. So the factors of 35 are 7 and 5. 35 is the multiple. So 7 times 5, because the factor times a factor, so 7 times 5 equals a multiple. My multiple is 35. So 7 and 5 in this case are my factors. 35 is a multiple. Okay, remember I was listing the multiples of 7, so it makes sense. If a multiple is a product of factors, 7 is the factor that I'm counting by. 7, 14, 21, 28, and then 35. 35 is a multiple of 7. All right. Last thing. I want to list the factors of 8 and then find the multiples of 8. This is something very similar to what your math journal is going to have you do. So the factors of 8, I'm just going to list real quick for us. I know they're 1 times 8 and 2 times 4, okay? 1 times 8 equals 8, and 2 times 4 equals 8. Okay, those are all the factors. There are no other whole numbers that you can multiply to get to 8. But now if I wanted to list the multiples of the factors, I'm listing the multiples now of 1. So I'm counting by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Multiples of 2 now. So I should have 2, 4, 6, 8, multiples of 4. Hey, wait, maybe I'm not sure what the multiples of 4 are. Go back to your multiplication chart. Oh, 4, 8, 12, 16. Let me write those down. 4, 8, 12, 16. And in the same way, I can do that for 8. I can look back at my chart if I need to. 8, 16, 24, 32. Okay, so use that multiplication chart as a tool. 8, 16, 24, 32. Eventually, you will need to memorize all of these multiplication facts, but while we're just getting started, using that chart is a great tool. So today, we should have learned what a multiple is and how to find them. A multiple is the product of two factors. So factor times a factor equals a multiple. All right, thanks, guys.